we are here with Joanne Robertson, Global Market CEO from Ketchum at the Gerety Villa, where we will have our barbecue. Welcome.
It smells amazing.
Yeah, we're getting everything ready here in Cannes. Thanks for giving us some of your time, because we know everybody's super busy. But you had some interesting topics you wanted to discuss with us.
Indeed.
So let's start by talking about now. When you look at the current state of the industry, what is the first word that comes to your mind and why?
I think the first word that comes to my mind is disruption, because disruption can be good and bad, right? And I think we are at a moment in the industry of huge opportunity, but also huge risk. You see my own holding company, Omnicom, acquiring IPG. You see the WPP CEO stepping down, so there's going to be change there. And you really feel a sense that we're coming up to a crossroads for who do we want to be as an industry, what do we want to represent, how do we stay relevant, and how do we use this disrupting technology, generative AI, that's just exploded into our world for good and in partnership with humans rather than a replacement for humans. So I think disruption, but we have to be really intentional about how we navigate that disruption.
And culture is often both a mirror and a battleground. How do you see culture influencing the stories brands are telling today? Are we getting braver or safer?
It's a great question. Because look, I think culture is so rich right now, and especially for brands who really dig into more niche focused communities and really get to know what's moving those communities, what's influencing them. I think that's when a brand is at the heart of culture. And still too often, too many brands are going for that mass market drive and appeal, which becomes very difficult to be culture first if that's what your approach is. And look, I think brands have become very safe. I think, the world is volatile. It's very polarized. We know that there's very few issues these days that are considered safe. Even if you have an opinion that's right in the middle, you seem to end up in a major debate. So I think brands should be cautious, should make sure that they've got a right to be in the conversations they want to be in. But they can still be creatively brave. They can still push boundaries whilst protecting their brand.
And you work across regions. What cultural nuances do you think are still being overlooked in global advertising?
Yeah, I am really thrilled that the Cannes Lions have awarded Brazil as their first creative country of the year. We have a really vibrant Ketchum office in Brazil, led by a brilliant leader, Caio Bamberg. And I think Brazil and Latin America overall, I think that we don't tap into the vibrancy and the flair, and I think there's a lot of bravery comes out of South America and Brazil in particular. And I think, again, I do think brands have got better at being, globally relevant but locally nuanced. And that's very, very important if you want to build the sort of relationship that's long lasting with your consumers. But stereotypes are there for a reason, I always say, and there are so many differences. Even if you just look in Europe, the difference between the French and the German and the Brits, I do still consider as European. I did not vote for Brexit. And so, I think it's so important that you have creators and people in your agencies, in your brands, who are really living and breathing those local cultures, because that's how you'll be relevant.
Authenticity is the most overused and often misunderstood word in branding. What does authentic actually mean to you when working with a brand or idea?
So for me, authenticity is being true to who you are. And I think that, again, in this volatile world where geopolitics is challenging, economies are challenging, you're seeing again that polarization of communities. We're kind of falling apart rather than coming together. in many cases. It's really hard right now for brands to be authentic and true to who they are, because they are fearful of what the implications might be for standing up for what's right. And as I said earlier, it is important that there is brand safety. I think the brands who have a little bit of bravery in being authentic and being true to themselves and really, you know, standing up in a world that's challenging, I think they will have more success. I think they will thrive as we go through this period than those who are kind of taking a step back.
Mm. And can a brand be authentic and still evolve with times?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you look at a brand like Procter and Gamble. You know, that's still for me the best marketing company in the world. Constantly innovating, constantly, you know, challenging their own people and their agencies. And for them, you know, they are that same trusted, safe brand. You know, you look at the products that they have in their company, and they are in everybody's homes all over the world. But you look at how they're experimenting with influencer marketing, for example, and I do think they are becoming much more focused on micro communities and really talking their language and really being in their culture. So I always class them as the bellwether. Like, if you see where P&G is going and how they're pushing, others will follow. And I think they are truly authentic to who they are.
And where's the line between relevance and opportunism?
It's a really hard one. It's a really hard one because for me, you know, opportunistic moments, whilst exciting in the moment, I don't think they drive that brand love that brands are seeking. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It can be fun to kind of play in the moment, but make sure that you've got a right to play there. Make sure that it's not, you can't dip in and out of communities anymore because you'll be held accountable for that, and the backlash will be much more powerful than if you stay silent. So I think always just make sure that you're being true to who you are and who your customers are.
And you spoke about polarization before. Being brave in a polarized world can mean being uncomfortable. What's the bravest creative decision you've seen recently, your own or someone else's?
It's a great question. I'm going to give you two. One that's our own and one that I've seen recently. So for our own, we're really proud of a campaign we did this year called Liming with Gran. And it's targeted specifically at the Afro-Caribbean community. And we did it in partnership with Genomics England and University of Cambridge. And it's a really difficult topic, right? How do you reach into a community and be culture first on a topic like genomics, which in the Afro-Caribbean community is quite taboo. People don't talk about their health and their history. And so we came up with this beautiful campaign called Liming with Gran. And liming basically means chilling. It's where you kind of sit around and you chat. And often in the Afro-Caribbean community, they will play dominoes while liming. And so we created this beautiful bespoke set of dominoes where in addition to the numbers, they've got little prompts to really drive conversation in the moment about health and history and genomics. And we used a grandson and his grandmother liming and playing dominoes to like really bring that to life. And the impact has been incredible for that community. And look, we could have gone bigger, right? We could have done multiple different communities, we could have done multiple different geographies, but we decided to stay really true to the core idea. And I think that was really brave, to really focus and be really confident that that choice was going to have the impact it's had. And then my second one is actually one that won a Grand Prix last night, which is from Service Plan in Germany, where they basically changed the packaging to be the price of the product, and because they were committing to that being the price at a time of huge inflation and, you know, people struggling to put food on the table. Such a simple idea, commercially very brave, because it put, you know, pressure on their business, but and also the packaging was just beautiful, bright colours, big numbers, and so I was thrilled to see. I know it's shortlisted at Gerety as well because I judged it. But I was thrilled to see that they got a Grand Prix last night.
There's a part on the case film that a lady says, it's good because I see the price without the glasses.
Yeah, it's so lovely.
It's like right there in the top of you. And what does bravery look like in practice? This, for example.
Well, yes, most definitely
example.
that one. But I think bravery is contextual, right? You, especially as an agency, when you work with so many diverse brands, you have to really understand their culture, some of their barriers, some of the things that might, we go in as agencies and we maybe have these blow the doors off, brave, creative, boundary pushing ideas, and it's hard to get them through in many organisations because they're conservative, because they've got a very certain style of culture, because they are quite safe in their approach. And so bravery, I think, is very much contextual. What's brave for one brand is not for another.
Exactly.
And so as agencies, I think we have to really deeply understand that and take our clients' ideas. I always say they have to be easy to buy, because if they're hard to buy and it's hard for them to get it through their internal systems, then you're unlikely to be successful. But keep pushing them and nudging them that little bit further and take them on the journey where we've got data coming out of our ears these days, so you can really prove and demonstrate the value of an idea and the potential impact of an idea. So bring the brand with you, just nudge them that little bit further forward.
And if you could ban one word from creative briefs forever, what would it be and why?
Viral. Oh my god, I can't believe that today we still have brands and organisations asking us to come up with viral campaigns, because what does that even mean? And actually viral campaigns aren't always necessarily commercially successful, right? So, and I think it's shifting from that word viral to what we talk about a lot is talkability. So when we're coming up with campaigns, is this something that you're going to talk about around the dinner table with your family, or when people are out, at the pub? Are they going to be having a conversation?
It's viral in real life.
In real life, yes. Because I think talkability, if people want to talk about it, you've had an impact, right? You've made them feel something or think something. You might have changed their mind. You might have sparked their imagination. So I think brands that are really looking for that talkability, particularly in the consumer world, I think that's the right way to go.
I like the word talkability. And let's say you're designing a campaign for 2030, which is
not that far away.
It's not that far away. Let's
5
say
years.
2050. What truth do you hope will matter by then?
I really hope that we are focused on humanity. It sounds quite bold, I was talking yesterday, there's so much talk about technology. There's so much talk about, this year in particular, generative AI. And I think if we're not careful, we will lose the very thing that makes this industry special, and that is the human touch. Because when you look at the very best creative ideas or the very best creative executions, I went to the Disney panel yesterday with Sterling Brown, and the way they talk about shows like Paradise, they come from really deep human experiences and really deep human insights. Like Paradise, what a brilliant example of talkability. I mean, it was everywhere when that show was launched, and for me, that is what makes this industry special. And lots of people now describe Cannes as a tech show rather than a creative show, and I think that's sad. I love at Gerety that real focus on the creative, the craft. That's why I got into this industry. It's why I stay. And whilst technology can be a brilliant partner, it can be it's democratizing a lot of things that were held in the hands of the few. So there are good things about it, but I think we need to be more intentional about the role of the human and be really careful to nurture our people and invest in our people even more than we're talking about technology.
So humanity and talkability.
There we go.
Stay with
The
us.
two buzzwords.
Great. So yeah, we also have some of these great dominoes outside
Yeah.
for people to play. I'm very curious to see.
I'm
because
gonna go have a game. Have you ever played dominoes?
I know, but I was talking with your team for the Gerety talk that we did, and the handcraft that is put into those dominoes is
So
like
beautiful, aren't they?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of time. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. You can now enjoy the pool, the party, the drinks, and food.
Thank you.
Thank you.